Vice President Felice, board members and cabinet members. Thank you for allowing me to present the LCAP Educational Partners feedback for 22-23, which is actually for next year. I'd like to call up the three members that are going to be helping me present tonight. First, Director of People Personnel Services, Dr. Juan Mendoza Romero. Director of Educational Service, Kim McCullough. Director of Special Projects, Alma Pio Garcia. I'd like to thank them. We've met a couple of days to put this together to synthesize all the surveys and all the parent input. Tonight, I'll be presenting, I'll be reviewing first the 6 LCAP goals that most of you have seen. Goal number 1, performance and opportunity gap will be eliminated. All students will graduate college and/or career ready. Goal number 2, recruit, hire, retain, and develop faculty, staff, and leaders that are qualified, high-performing, diverse, and culturally competent. Number 3, all students will be engaged in learning environments that are safe, inclusive, caring, and healthy. Number 4, all English learners will increase their English language acquisition towards English proficiency. Number 5, students with disabilities will graduate college and career ready. And number 6, foster and homeless youth will attend school every day. On the next slide, you see here our educational partners' feedback and the different opportunities they had. Some of them were done in surveys, some of them were meetings, but we met with them on these certain days. I and cabinet members met with CSCA on April 4th, and we also met with SVT on April 4th to hear the recommended actions for the following year. Mrs. Kim McCullough did the staff surveys, which were included and certificated and classified in the admin. They were done from November through January. Dr. Romero, he did the student survey, and they were done, they were passed out 3 different times, February 9th, 16th to the 21st. Whereas Alma Pio did a lot of, she did a survey, and she also did in-person meetings with site community meetings in November. She had March 1st with DLAC, Parent Advisory Committee in April, and then she's gonna have another LCAP Community Engagement Partners Engagement in June, next Monday, the 5th, at Everett Alvarez. I'll be attending that one. In the next slide here, we have the responses or the amount of responses we had in the different surveys. On the top left, you see there the staff survey presenting percentages for the different high schools and how they participated. There was 1,080 staff surveys turned in. Like I said before, that included certificated, classified, and admin. The LCAP parent survey, which was done by Ms. Alma Pio, also had 1,891 completed surveys, along with some parent input. Okay, and Mr. Romero, he was in charge of the LCAP student surveys. He had 2,721, which gave us a total of 5,892 surveys completed each year. Okay. With that, we met several days to take all this input and synthesize it and give it to you guys here today and divide it up in different goals to see where they're at. Along the same lines, last week, I also called CCA president and SVT president to make sure that they were aware of all the things that they had recommended and we were proposing and we were going to present tonight, okay? So we divided them up into 6 LCAP goals, and first to present tonight, the first LCAP goal will be Dr. Romero.
Good evening, distinguished board members, Superintendent Mr. Burns, and cabinet members. I am Juan Mendoza. I am the Director of the People Personnel Services Department, and I will be going over LCAP 1. These are the recommendations from students, parents, and staff. And just to recap, the LCAP Goal 1 is a performance and opportunity gap will be eliminated. All students will graduate college and career ready. So some of the recommendations from the partners As you can see here, we only chose a certain number, but we had a lot of responses. But in summary, these were the most common or the most frequently answered. Number one, continue with academic counseling and supporting students and parents with college readiness workshops, and that was from staff, students. Number five, offer more courses that support college preparations, such as AP courses, dual enrollment, etc. Number six, increase college and career readiness workshops, college fairs, and college courses in middle school. And that's something that we'll be working on next year. We want to have a 1 week or a 2 week summer program at Hartnell College for middle school students. We were not able to bring that to fruition this year, but we are planning on having something like that for middle school. We need to get them ready for high school. And number eight, offer more career fairs and job shadowing for the students. And these are the quotes from what the partners have said. I'm only going to choose a couple of them. Start with teaching students about the importance of college so that they can get motivated to go to college. More field trips, more college field trips. Invitar a personas con diferentes carreras para que les hablen a los jóvenes sobre sus profesiones y los jóvenes se sienten inspirados o tengan curiosidad a buscar qué les gustaría estudiar. Invite professionals from the community to talk to students about their professions so that students can be inspired or become curious so they can research what they would like to study.
Good evening, honored board members and cabinet. I have the honor of sharing with you tonight LCAP goal number 2, and I'm Kimberly McCulloch, Director of Ed Services. So LCAP goal 2, recruit, hire, retain, and develop faculty, staff, and leaders that are qualified, high-performing, diverse, and culturally competent. So some of the things I want to highlight tonight in our stakeholder feedback is input from stakeholders was to continue to develop professional learning communities at all school sites. I am very excited to share with you that throughout this spring semester, we have worked closely with our collaborative partners of SVFT to design 2 professional development days that will be happening at the beginning of August that will focus on developing that shared understanding of the work of professional communities, learning communities, and how we work together to ensure high levels of learning for all students. So parts of this plan is already being put in place through our collaborative partnership. Also continue to support with district training our instructional coaches and provide a variety of professional development opportunities for staff. Have 1 to 2 PD days at the start of the school year, so thank you board, thank you SVFT, CSEA, and cabinet for the work that has already started to happen on that as well. Include classified staff and professional development opportunities. So as we know, CSEA has worked with an MOU, and our paraprofessionals will be joining us on those 2 days at the start of the school year, working with the teams. And continue to develop an inclusive and welcoming school environment. So that's something we're going to continue to be working with the sites to build so our parents, students, and staff feel welcomed and included in the school site. Some of the quotes I want to share with you tonight, first from staff. Teachers need more professional development. We have had very little the last few years because of COVID. Science teachers have had little to no training on how to do NGSS teaching correctly. From students, give teachers more access to materials. And from staff, I appreciate the book clubs that have extended PD, like the Teaching for Black Lives. Thank you.
And now for goal 3, these are some of the recommendations. Number 1, increase and hire campus supervisors or more campus supervisors in security. And these are recommendations from the staff, parents, students, CSEA, and SVFT. Number 3, continue behavior and academic supports through PBIS, recognize positive behavior, and this is from staff, students, and parents. Training on building authentic relationships, and authentic relationships between students and teaching staff. And number 8, continue providing training for staff and students on implicit bias and building inclusivity of our student groups. And some of the quotes, provide professional development for teachers to build relationships with students, and this is from the students themselves. Provide students with more opportunities to engage in project-based learning. They want less time on Chromebooks and tech books, while still using multimedia like videos, and this is from the students. And from parents, tener más actividades de convivio y pedir a los padres que ayuden con la preparación de los eventos. Offer more activities where students can interact among themselves and invite parents to assist in the planning of school events. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have LCAP goal number 4. All English learners will increase their English language acquisitions towards English proficiency. So some of the LCAP stakeholder input that we want to highlight is our stakeholders have asked for smaller class sizes for our newcomers. So through the scheduling that's been happening with HR and instructional services and with the support of the business office, we have been able to have those smaller class sizes this year put in place across the district. Also offer more periods in the day to support our English learners to be ready for the UC and CSUs. So making sure that they're able to get all the courses they need to be prepared to go on to college. Hire the EL director, that is coming from parent input. And then also interpreting for parents in languages other than Spanish with an emphasis on Mixteco. We know our Mixteco community is growing and we need to have support for our parents that speak Mixteco. So we are currently updating a job description for a translator that is Mixteco, speaks Spanish, Mixteco, and English, and that is in the process working with CSEA and HR right now. And I know our parents were very excited when we met for DLAC to talk about the need for Mixteco and make sure that we have those services for our parents in our community. And one more thing that I want to add that's not on here, we're also in a partnership with Stanford and working with Lori Olson, who is a guru in supporting long-term English learners. We just started that partnership today, and it's going to be working on what are the best ways to support our students that are long-term English learners in a partnership where there is 57 schools that applied for this, 7 schools that were selected, and our district was selected to be a leader in the state in this. So this is very exciting in the work that will continue in this next year.
Thank you. Good evening, Board and Superintendent. Do you want to read a quote?
Oh, I forgot my quote. I'm so excited about I'm so excited. Okay. So I'll share a few quotes with you. So also coming from students, increase the interaction of special education and English learners with other students. Coming from staff, more access to career prep courses for English learners who don't have room in their schedule to take ROP classes because of their enrollment in language support. And coming from parents, find a way to get EL students to get involved in extracurricular activities where they develop and apply their language and their skills.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. So I'm Alma Pio Garcia, Director of Special Projects, and I work a lot with the parents, the surveys, with our families, and also then the LCAP Parent Advisory Committee. Today I'm here to share a little bit about Goal 5, students with disabilities will graduate college and career ready. And when we had our LCAP Parent Advisory Committee meetings, we reviewed all of the feedback that was provided within the 1,891 surveys, and we had the opportunity of hearing Ms. Jennifer Smith come in give the feedback and provide an update of what she's doing in her department. But some of the things we want to highlight is she's definitely working with the PD committee to ensure that she continues to provide training on best instructional practices for all of her students with IEPs. This includes case managers and also the paraeducators being involved in the PD with the teachers and staff. And it's my understanding that we do have an MOU for them to also collaborate with them at the beginning of the school year. In addition to that, due to feedback from families, last year's and this year's feedback is that we need more education for our families on the rights of students with IEPs, understanding the different disabilities, understanding how to support at home and what kind of supports we have at the school sites. So we're working together with the Parent Involvement Coordinator for Special Education to provide parent awareness workshops. And we'll continue that collaboration with our Special Projects Department as well in offering services for our families to get education out there to our families and engage them in learning the different avenues that we can take to ensure that our students graduate either college or career ready, even those students with our IEPs. There is the need to increase communication and monitoring between the case manager and the parents. So a lot of times we have those yearly IEP meetings, but parents are asking to have more constant communication. So we'll continue to work on developing a plan to ensure that that happens throughout the 23-24 school year. And some of the quotes I want to read, siendo empáticos con ellos, identificando la necesidad de cada uno y ofreciendo alternativas. So make sure that we're empathetic with our students. Each students with IEPs have a different need. So whenever we're dealing with student behavior or responding, to ensure that we're empathetic to the needs of the student and apply either the tactics or the discipline based on the need of the child. And then we need more paraeducators. We know that we've had a deficit in paraeducators. So recommendation might be that, why don't we have them? Does that mean we have to pay them a little bit more to attract them to our school districts? So we definitely need paraeducators and a competitive wage for our paraeducators. Our goal number 6 is the fostering homeless youth. Will attend to school every day. So as we know, one of the student groups that has been called in the LCAP process is our fostering homeless youth. So we added a new goal last year for fostering homeless youth. So we definitely, it's a smaller goal, but definitely it's a small group of students, yet there's a high need. So we definitely need to continue to support homeless and foster youth through our community liaisons. So ensure that there's a person at each school site that is aware of the student situation and is able to provide the necessary everyday needs to come to school. If that means a backpack, if that means a pencil, if that means arranging transportation due to losing of housing or removed from their home. So we will continue to support with that. We need to continue communicating with counselors so they're aware of the students' needs and ensure that they're providing the monitoring needed after a student has been misplaced, and see if they qualify for any of the assembly bills that have passed throughout the last couple of years to ensure that our students graduate school or come to school and meet the graduation requirements, if that's the district's requirements or if that's the state requirements. We work very closely with transportation to ensure that when the student is not in the school of residence, to provide them transportation to their school of origin, because many of the times that's where they have the connections and that's what they need to feel successful. And then one great recommendation this year was to create an avenue to partner our students, our foster homeless students, to a job opportunity, work with our different community organizations to see if we can seek a pathway to, once they graduate or once they're old enough, to get that avenue of getting a job and feeling a little more self-sufficient to bring some income. And some of the comments is make sure kids have access to the internet at home and they have a way to get to and from school. So again, some of them our students that are homeless may not have internet, so we ensure that we work with them to ensure that we provide a hotspot or a place at our school site where they can access the internet. And donation boxes that students can access in the office if they are in need. Sometimes a pencil is all they need, and it's easy to give if those are available across our school sites. Thank you. That's a brief summary of all the feedback, yet there's a lot more.
Thank you. Any questions?
I do. I just wanted to know why was there such a difference in the student surveys from the different schools? Like we have, LSAG had 651 and we've got 4 from Hardin or 16 from North Salinas High School. What's the disparity? I mean, there's such a big gap in how many they receive from the other schools.
We work with the counselors. We also work with the administrators to try to get as many students to participate. We sent out emails. Mr. Cabrera assisted us with sending out email and text blasts, and unfortunately, that was the number that,
It's a voluntary survey.
Yes.
So,
Same thing with on the parent side?
yes.
but we are going to work next year closer with the administrators, with the counselors, and the school staff, including classified, so we can get as many students' voices as possible.
Maybe we can see what the 3 schools that had a big turnout did, so we can kind of emulate what they did.
Well, I was there, so.
I know.
Just so you know, there was a little incentive for the teachers, and there was 2 schools that won that. You know, you bring out burritos and everybody starts turning in their surveys.
Okay.
We took this is very serious, LCAP, you know, getting your educational partners' input. If you notice, we had a lot of input from our parents, and also SVFT was very, very adamant about our newcomers, making sure we supply them with certain classes and make sure that we give them all the resources they need to be successful. They work hand in hand with also, I guess, our parents. And you can see up there, a lot of other requests that the parents have given us. We'll put it into the LCAP this year, like previous years.
Okay, anybody else?
I have a question. In regards to the parents for the, above that chart, it says, the community educational partners engagement in early June. So you're involving, it says partners. Who will be attending that?
So that is, the meeting on June 5th is when we present the, kind of the draft of the LCAP, and we invite parents, students, and community. And anybody is welcome to come and listen to the actions taken into the LCAP update that we'll be presenting to the board in June. So
Okay.
everybody's invited.
So I guess I want to stress the communication, how it goes out, so we don't have the differences of percentages across the board, because as we hear tonight, we want parent involvement, community collaboration. So I just would like to know how that information is going to get.
So the communication goes out several ways.
It's going to be in summertime.
The communication goes out from my office through our communication systems, which is Blackboard and Talking Points. In addition to that, the information is shared to the principals, and principals also support with the communication through their own communication venues, which could be Blackboard, social media, Talking Points. So, and then we also present it to our liaisons if they have any parent meetings from here till next week, which some of them may or may not, since it's the last week of school, but it is also pushed out. And then we also have our community partners. Mrs. Alma Loredo is a parent, very active, and she also has her own communication avenues and
Yes.
shares and invites other parents or other community members.
And with Alma Cervantes and
And,
Building
yeah,
Healthy
yeah,
Communities,
definitely, yeah.
Just would like that extended and making sure that we use all.
All of,
communication.
yes, then we do. And, of course, we take advantage of our own communication directors here as well with our own social media pages that we have. But it's always more effective when it's highlighted at the school site, because more parents are attracted to those social medias within the school site. So we do seek out the support of our partners at the school sites.
Yes, and also I think reaching out to the, to each school, they have their own activities pages on social media. That would be great for a link for them to share it, because not everybody has
Yeah,
different avenues
exactly.
of social media.
Yeah, definitely,
So
yes.
with,
And we expose a lot to Facebook because parents are to Facebook, but to students is more, Snapchat, I don't know, they probably don't, what else do they use? I don't even know. Instagram, all that stuff. But for our parents, we do the Facebook one.
Thank you.
And then when Marco sends it out, a lot of them link it and just share it.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I have one more question. Because we've been hearing and, we've been visiting, a few of us trustees have been visiting school sites, and I know safety is one of the issues, and of course, we heard about that tonight. And on the LCAP on safe, what is it 3? LCAP 3, regarding all students will engage in learning environments that are safe, inclusive, caring, and healthy. So the main issue that we're dealing with on the safety is the security and the justice practices. Is there any way is there an opportunity for us to change some of those actions or include an additional action as it relates to kind of what we're hearing from, staff and parents and so forth on other actions that we can take to kind of address what's going on right now?
So I do want to share that at our, because I hold the parent advisory committee meetings. We had 5 different sessions. For LCAP Goal 3, we actually had 2 full sessions, and in one of them, Tom Woodland came and presented the safety plan and the security plan, presented it to our parents of what the plan is for this upcoming school year and the professional development that they're going to receive. And it was very responsive from our families, so I really hope that we can continue that collaboration with Tom to come and provide updates to our families about the plan. And as we heard today, they do want to be on the table and give us
Yeah.
feedback. So we started that, recently, and I know that our parents are open to do it, and I know that Anna and her department's also willing to, and Tom willing to listen. So we started that very slightly, and I hope it's going to continue as we continue the 23-24 school year.
So if I can piggyback on that, so the next board meeting, you'll get the draft of the full LCAP.
Okay.
And as a board, that's an opportunity for the board to give input on the LCAP as well. Before then, it's brought back to the next meeting for final approvals. And then that feedback from the board can be added or
Okay.
merged into some of the actions that are there.
I mean, I know it's a multi-tier, very complicated issue we're dealing with, but maybe, I don't know, it's like I said, you hear and we go and visit and we know it's not just one issue, but just maybe trying to see if there's some additional action items that we can add to that too.
Remember, these are only some of the recommended by our
Yeah.
educational partners. When we get all these items, also, I'd like to thank the finance department. They have to itemize all of these. It takes a
Yeah.
long
I
time.
know.
We have a lot of new items, a lot of new jobs. Dr. Galicia has to put those together to make sure that we meet certain criteria. And then we have Dr. Christmas over here also that has to make sure that they fit and meets with all the community
the
members also.
requirements,
But
yeah.
Anna has to put it all together. They were been working for the last 3
Yeah.
weeks on this, almost 4 weeks, almost every day.
Yeah.
So I thank her because I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the work we do.
Okay.
Any other questions?
We're good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.